Exodus 20, 1 through 7. And God spoke all these words, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. So when you encounter other people, do you look at them like they are a reminder of God? Our passage today is from the first 7 verses of the 10 Commandments. But many people might say, what do we need the Old Testament for since we have Jesus? What do we need these commandments for? But the 10 Commandments can give us great insight into who God is. One of the most important rabbis and Hebrew Bible teachers in the last 100 years was Abraham Joshua Heschel. And he said that the starting point of an encounter with God and an understanding with God evokes radical amazement, awe, reverence, and questions of meaning. I just love that. And his daughter, who is an amazing Hebrew Bible scholar as well, told a story about her father where he teased students with a riddle. And he said, when had God broken the commandment against creating an image of God? And the answer, he said, was when God had created human beings in his own image. God broke God's own commandment by creating us in God's own image. Whoa. Years later, that story was brought up after he had passed away, and his daughter, Susanna, said this riddle was so important because in his life, he believed that being created in the image of God meant that everyone, absolutely everyone, should be a reminder of God. Everyone should be a reminder of God. When you encounter other people, do you look at them like they are a reminder of God? When Jesus was tested by those who knew these commandments really well, he was asked what the greatest commandment was, and Jesus said, love God and love your neighbor. And when God gave these commands to God's people, it was to help them learn to love God and to learn to love neighbor better. Now, some people think that these commandments might be constricting, but these commands can actually show us what we really love. Because we all have our idols, don't we? We all misuse God's name by the way that we live as we claim the name Christian. And the reality is that God's people throughout centuries have not been living up to these commandments, the commandments that have been set here. Yet God is still forgiving. God is still giving grace. God is still responding with love. There's this funny passage in one of the stories about Jesus where Jesus says, why are you trying to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye when you have a plank in your own? And I think this is the key. Jesus is saying you'd rather use rules to show others how wrong or bad they are, instead of using the rules to help you love others better. So maybe these commandments, although seemingly restrictive, can free us up to love, can give us a direction to love, so that we can be people who look at others and see reminders of a God who created them in God's image. Amen.